Boom, we're live. It's Chris Igoe Home Group, powered by the Real Estate Boiler Room Bootcamp. And today I am going to break down and analyze, dissect a phone conversation I had with an expired listing, and I'm going to work you through that process. If you find this content to be valuable, if it resonates with you, if this is something that you would like to learn how to do for yourself, then congratulations, you are in the right spot. We absolutely can teach you how to do it. And my mindset is every time I get on the phone, I expect to set an appointment for myself. You will learn how to do that too. So I'd encourage you to check out the Boiler Room Bootcamp event that myself and Matt Kavanaugh of Bulletproof Sales have created. It's this September 4th through 6th. It's down here in Boynton Beach, South Florida. It's a 3-day success incubator. We are going to teach you exactly what to say, when to say it, how to say it, and to close. We've created a field guide which will weaponize you and walk you through the exact system, process, and scripts that we use to set appointments at will. Our first event was a few months ago, and at this event out there in California at Matt's office, we completely dominated. We had new people who had never been on the phone before, never sold over the phone before, in some cases had never even dialed the phone before as it relates to setting appointments. And every single person in this in the event set an appointment for themselves. We set a total of 60 appointments, hundreds of thousands of dollars of potential commissions to be earned, and we set 2 live listings on Zoom conference calls while we were there. So it is incredibly powerful. We are extremely fired up about it, and I absolutely know that anybody who is willing to put in the work and follow the process will have tremendous success. So I'd encourage you to check it out. All right. With that in mind, I'm going to break down my my recent conversation here, and let's see, where is it? All right, so away we go. Now, before I actually start this call, I think it's important that you understand exactly the mindset. So you got to know your audience, right? So it's critical to understand that you are calling people who have been on the market. They had their home listed for sale, and their agent failed them. So they the owners of this home put the home on the market. They invested a lot of time, a lot of mental energy, a lot of emotional energy, and at the end of the day, they did not get the result that they wanted. So you got to be aware of that, because in most cases, these people are not particularly happy. They're not particularly trusting. They went through this experience once, it didn't work out, so they could be any level of negative mindset, and you're going to come across all of them. That's okay. You'll learn how to be able to neutralize every single objection that's out there, and if the other person on the other end is at all receptive to selling their home, you will be weaponized and know exactly how to set those appointments. So that being said, you also have to be aware that you are up against a ton of competition. So you're not the only one. Unfortunately, we're not the only one. I'm not the only one making these calls. So you've got an audience of people who have already been disappointed at minimum by the fact that they didn't get their house sold. But then in addition to that, to add insult to injury, they're getting bombarded by every realtor on the planet who's trying to get their listing. So you got to be aware of that too. These people are getting hammered. There's a ton of competition. And the only things that we can do to set ourselves apart is be sharper, be more articulate, and know how to close. In addition to that, you have to have the mindset of continuing to push. Anybody who is on the phone with you wants to be sold. If they didn't want to be sold, they hung up. They would hang up. So you have to keep pushing through every objection, every situation you find yourself in, period. So that being said, my mindset coming into every single phone call that I have is that I've got a fiduciary responsibility to connect with these home sellers, because I'm 100% convinced that my systems, my processes, my teammates, my marketing, my ad spend. Every single thing I do from soup to nuts is far superior than anybody else out there. And it's my duty to connect with these people to get them the result that they want, which is their home sold. They want it done fast with less stress, and they want to get the most money. So we are real estate sales professionals. We are offering a high value service. We are not punching bags. We are not doormats. I don't believe in the smile and dial mentality. I don't believe in asking them how their day is or how the weather is. I don't care about all that. I want to connect with them as quickly as possible and then present to them a value proposition that they simply cannot say no to. So that's my mindset going into every single conversation. We're not punching bags. We're not doormats. I'm going to protect my energy. I'm going to mirror and reflect exactly whatever energy is being brought to me. So I'll match fire with fire. I'll match condescension with condescension. I'll match them any way that I need to. I'll meet them where they are. And if I have to smack them in the mouth, I will do that. I'll then very quickly pet their belly to let them know it's okay. I'm going to take control of the conversation. I'm going to protect my energy, and I'm going to get the appointment. So you will learn how to do that too. And again, if any of this resonates with you, then please click the links below or reach out to me or Matt or to any of the alumni that are out there who would be happy to set up a discovery call and tell you about their experience. So all that being said, I am a firm believer that every single call that you are on can be a win. What is a win to me? Well, a win to me is connecting with these home sellers and getting permission to, well, obviously the first win is to set the appointment, right? But in the event I don't set the appointment, I want to get enough information from them to be able to connect with them in the future at a very high level. So if I don't get them today, I want to be able to follow up with them and get them tomorrow or the next day or whenever that might be. So I'm going to ask for their email address. I'm going to ask for their cell phone numbers. I'm going to ask for permission to connect with them, and I'm going to send them items of value. Because I want to be able to, at minimum, add them to the top of my sales funnel and be able to follow up with them in the future. So maybe they're not ready now, but I will always be there. And with that being said, away we go. Let's get this started. All right. This is Chris Igoe with Remax. I'm giving you a call. I noticed your property listing had expired in the MLS. I was curious, how on earth did the property not sell? All right. So we are 11 or 12 seconds into the pitch. Now, this is critical. There are only a few things. These people are judging you instantaneously in the first few seconds by what you say and how you say it. So it's critical to have vocal swagger on every single call that you have. Most people, when they get on the phone, most of the competition has not spent a lot of time practicing their execution or their elocution of this pitch. So you want to have range in your voice. You want to have inflection. You want to have power in what you say, and you want to set that tone energetically right out of the gate. So that's what I'm doing here. But more importantly than that, I'm hooking them with a question. And I'm not asking them how their day is shaping up so far or how their day is. I'm asking them, how on earth did the property not sell? Everybody can answer that question. And based on how they answer it is going to set the tone for everything I'm going to say after that. But it's two or three sentences. If you execute and deliver it the right way, 90% of the people are going to let you proceed in the conversation. So it's critical to get that right. Some pro tips, what I would give here, the advice I gave to myself and that was taught to me is when you are learning the pitch, which again, we will give you, we will teach you, you will learn, you will be fully weaponized, but it's critical to practice the delivery of every single word in every single sentence. So I used to go out there and record myself in the mirror, listen to how I sound, and If I didn't think I sounded great, it's because I didn't sound great. So I would practice it until I got the inflection right, the speed right, until I sounded like a professional. And now you could wake me up at 3 o'clock in the morning or any time of the night, and I could execute this pitch the exact same way with the exact same inflection and the exact same mindset, period, because I've done it thousands of times. So it takes a lot of reps, but these are things that you can master quickly, and we'll teach you exactly how to do that. So here we go.
Well, it's a good question, but we'll find out very shortly. His name we listed tomorrow.
Oh, okay. So he's trying to blow me off the phone. I don't believe anybody when they tell me that they've done anything in the first 2 seconds of the conversation, because I know most people's mentality starts out in the no mentality. These are people out there who are hardwired to say no. And maybe he hired somebody, maybe he didn't. I don't really know, but I'm going to continue to push. I'm going to continue to fish, try to reel him in and see if it's true or not, but also offer a solution to his problem.
Well, real quick, I know exactly why it didn't sell.
Now, mind you, he said he didn't know, but it would be relisted tomorrow. Well, congratulations, buddy. I know exactly why your home didn't sell. There's only 3 reasons why any home doesn't sell: price, condition, marketing. So obviously I've got that dialed in. We have this completely set up in a method where you're able to go from the beginning to end and take them on our path to closing. But he's given me an opportunity for me to speak. So I'm going to take the ball and I'm going to run with it.
3 reasons why properties don't sell, and I suspect that you probably know all of them. The first one obviously is price. Now, it looks like you were on the market for 100.
I got news for you. It's always price. The reason why the home didn't sell is always price. Period. End of story. But let's keep pushing.
183 days. Did you have any offers while you were listed?
No conversation. I hired somebody.
Okay, well, let me ask you this.
All right, so this guy's being very dismissive of me. He's going to blow me off the phone. He's hired somebody else. We don't need to have a conversation about this. Well, I beg to differ, and I'm going to offer him a solution, because I really don't believe that he's hired the best person to advocate on his behalf. So I'm going to give him a binary choice here.
And I'm glad you hired somebody, but I suspect your true loyalty is to your bottom line. And if at the end of the day I can show you a method that will get you more, I suspect you'd probably be interested in knowing about that. Let me ask you this. If you knew...
All right, so again, he's given me the floor. I need to be able to execute, and I'm going to start closing as soon as possible. Some people call this a test close. If you give me the opportunity to talk, in spite of the fact that you've told me you've hired somebody else, I dismiss all of that, because I know, again, when I talked about my mindset, I've got a internal belief. I have a fiduciary responsibility to connect with this guy and let him know that I'm going to find the one buyer on planet Earth willing to pay more than anybody else. Why is that? Because my systems, my processes, every single thing I do is so far superior than anybody else out there. Marketing, ad spend, whatever it might be, I believe mine is superior, and I am going to outperform anybody else out there. That's an internal truth that I hold on to, so I don't have any problem continuing to push in spite of the fact that he's told me he's allegedly hired somebody else. But let's see.
Absolutely for certain that by doing business with me, 2 things would happen. 1, your home would sell. 2, you'd end up with significantly more money bottom line than you could get any other way. Now, I know that's a big promise, but would you at least want to hear more about it? Be honest.
Bam! I just cracked him. So he went from trying to dismiss me on the phone. I continued to push. If this guy didn't want to talk to me, he would have hung up the phone. If that doesn't happen, then he wants to be sold. All I have to do is earn it. And the way you do that is by following our method, which we will teach you in the boot camp, and continuing to push. Continue to ask questions, continue to push, and offer your services at a high level, and know what your value proposition is. But we will learn these things. We will work you through these things. You will know how to do exactly what I'm doing every time you get on the phone, if you're willing to commit to doing the work. But let's continue.
Okay. Well, the first thing I would ask you is, you were on the market for 183 days. Did you have any offers?
I ask that question because it will engage him. It will build rapport. I'll get some information, whether he got some offers or not. And whether he says yes or no, I know how to pivot and respond to that.
Yes.
Were they just not high enough?
Of course they're not high enough. Otherwise, he would have sold the property. But I asked that question because I want to engage him and get him to. He believes we're having a conversation. I believe I'm taking him through my method to get him to close. And you'll learn how to do that too.
That's high enough.
Okay. In terms of activity on the property, were you getting a lot?
Now, I'm asking very innocent questions that's creating engagement with him. I've hooked him in the beginning. I'm building rapport. I'm continuing to have him engage with me in conversation. But the reality of it is this isn't a conversation. This is me taking him I am driving him to me setting the appointment, whether he knows it or not.
A lot of showings.
Not enough.
Obviously. Is it possible to lay eyes on the property?
We are having a lightning storm. But nonetheless, I am taking him through. I am taking him from point A to point B. I am asking him questions. I am building rapport. He's a little bit dismissive with me. I am, in turn, a little bit dismissive with him. And if he was any other way, I try to mirror and reflect that too. Let's continue to push.
And see if it's something we believe we can get you multiple offers on and sell fast.
The only way you can do that is if you bring the buyers and then hire somebody.
Again, he hired somebody, he hired somebody, he hired somebody. I don't believe you, I don't believe you, I don't believe you.
Okay. And who did you go with? I never heard of him.
So he met, all the names have been changed to protect the innocent and anonymity, but he hired somebody. I never heard of him. Again, this is somebody who's very dismissive. Now, this is a high price point listing. So I know I'm dealing with a high net worth person who has some confidence. They may be a little bit arrogant. I'm going to match them energetically and meet them where they are. So he hired somebody. I never heard of him.
Okay. And which brokerage is that? Okay, well, just so you know, I'm with Remax Direct. We've got 6 offices down here in South Florida. We've sold 15,000 homes since 2008. We're averaging 1 a day. I can tell you my claim to fame. I'm top 50.
All right, so it is important in order for you to be able to stand out versus the competition that's out there. And again, we know that we are competing against I don't know how many other agents that are calling these exact same leads that you are. You better be able to articulate your value proposition. You have to be able to self-promote. So if you've got stats, you better be able to spit that. You better be able to spit that fire and brag a little bit here. This is where you're promoting yourself. So if you've got your own stats, that's fantastic. Use them. If you don't have your own stats, that's okay. When I didn't have any stats, I would leverage my brokerages. And no matter where you are in your real estate career, whether you've sold 1,000 homes or you've sold 0 homes, you can always leverage your brokerage to find stats that establish you as an authority on the subject. So in this case, I lean into my brokerage's stats.
50 in the state of Florida. I get 97.2% of lists for my clients, and I do that in an average of 9 days. Are you in the proper?
So again, I've gone through my own stats. I've analyzed the best metrics that I can find. I was just ranked in the top 50 in the state of Florida, so I can lean into that too. If you don't have those stats, it's really not the end of the world. Use your brokerages, spit them with fire and confidence, and nobody's going to question you on anything. But you better be prepared. You better pack the gear to ask for the order, and you're going to learn how to do that in our boot camp.
Ready now?
Personally?
Yes.
No, I'm off right now.
I am.
So now I'm starting to ask him questions that are easy for him to say yes to. And I know that he's not. Well, my suspicion on this particular call is that he's not in the property because I'm calling a cell phone that's out of state. So I suspect that he's up north, and I confirm that suspicion. But again, I'm trying to build rapport. I'm working him from a no mentality to a yes mentality. I'm building rapport the entire time. And as soon as I can, I'm going to try to set the appointment. But I've just established that he's not home, which allows me to then know, well, if he's not there, then the only way for me to set an appointment with him is on a Zoom conference call. So I'm gathering information for myself to be able to ask for the correct order or the correct appointment and meet him where he is.
I had a feeling that was the case. All right. Is it possible to run an analysis on your property as it relates to price and email that to you? This way we're both fluent and speaking the same language as it relates to price.
I asked that question because most people will say yes to that. It starts to change the mentality, the no mentality to the yes mentality. So most people will start dismissive. They will try to blow you off the phone. They will say no. They will say no. They will say no. But if you pepper them and build rapport, they will eventually start to say yes, because I ask for simple things like, can I send you a home value report? Now, I get a little bit of pushback, but that's okay.
I'm sure you have, but for my own edification, I just want to make sure we're fluent and speaking the same language.
Again, this is all confidence. This is a confidence play. He's had it done. That's nice. I need for my own edification to know that I've done it, because I'm implying that my way is the right way, which it is.
Your best email. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do if it meets with your approval. I'm going to run an analysis.
Now, again, I've got him to give. So he wants to, from the beginning of this conversation, he's wanted to say no. He's wanted to dismiss me. He's wanted to get me off the phone, but I've managed to hook him in and reel him in this entire conversation. So now he's starting to give me information, which tells me I'm very close to being able to set the appointment.
On the property as it relates to price, I will email that to you. The number that I'm calling you on, is it your cell phone? Okay. When we get
all right, so now I got him to give me his email address. He said yes to his cell phone. Again, this is strategic. I am setting the dynamic where I'm changing his mentality from the no mentality to the yes mentality. And as soon as I feel I've got the ability to, I'm going to ask for the appointment.
Off the phone, I will text you my contact information so that you have it. If you would be good enough to save it in your phone, I suspect you're probably getting a lot of phone calls from other realtors today. I'd like you to remember who I am. I understand that. You made the list. Congratulations.
All right. So this is a high net worth person. This is a $2 million plus property. We've built some rapport. We're now starting to connect. He's gotten too many phone calls. Hey, congratulations. You made the list. This is a guy who I'm sure feels very good about the fact that he's made the list.
What I would like to do, being that you are out of state, I actually service plenty of out-of-state sellers. I'd like to email you a link to do a screen share. It will take about 5-10 minutes. I'll show you exactly how we get property sold. And if you totally agree that it's the best method for you, then perhaps we can do some business. Do you have availability?
If you totally agree this is the best method for you, I am setting a vocal trap here. I am starting to mess with his psychology. It's intentional. And I'll teach you how to do that too.
In the next 15, 20 minutes?
Very limited, but you can send it in.
Excellent. So I'm going to send you
very limited, but I can send it in. I completely cracked this guy. He went from no, dismissing me, to yes, I can send it in. Now, look, he may have hired somebody else. He may be relisting tomorrow, but I need to get the reps in. I need to get in front of him. This is where the magic happens. So the only way I'm going to know whether I can get this listing or not, if I can directly compete with whatever the offer is he's may or may not have signed with this person. But if I can show him a method that will impact him and benefit him positively, he'll sign with me. He's agreed to that. So let's keep pushing.
I'll link to that now, and I'll meet you online here in 15 minutes, okay?
I've got a lot of links coming in. Yours is going to be which?
Mine is going to be coming from Chris at IgoeHomeGroup.com.
Okay.
All right? Now let me ask you this.
All right. So again, he He is with me. I have connected. We have the appointment set. He's agreed to everything. Now I'm just going to go for the gusto and really plant the seed that I am going to get his home sold.
When I do sell the property and get you more money than you ever thought possible, will you do an amazing testimonial and tell everybody what a great job I did?
I sure will.
Outstanding.
All right, so I am now directly, whether he knows it or not, I'm directly competing with whoever it is that he may or may not have signed with. And he's already agreed that when I do sell the home, he's going to do a raving testimonial for me. This is all a high level. We are doing some serious mental gymnastics here. But I've cracked him. So he went from no and dismissive to yes, I've got a shot. That's all I need. I need one shot to get my foot in the door and compete with whoever it is that he may or may not be listing with or thinking about listing with. It's all about reps. And yes, I understand that there's in order to get the commission at the end of the day, you got to set the appointment. So it's critical. This is only step number one, and I get that. But you must become a master at setting appointments, and you will at our boot camp. This is what we're going to teach you. We've created a complete manual, a field guide, if you will, which will totally weaponize you on exactly what to say, exactly how to say it, exactly when to say it, and you will be 100% bulletproof. You will be able to set appointments at will, just like I do, just like Matt does every day, and we're super fired up about it. So let's just finish this call.
I appreciate it. You've been a perfect gentleman. I will send you the link now, and I'll see you here in 15 minutes, all right?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
And that's it, right? So here's a guy who's up north. He doesn't want to hear it. He was not going to let me talk, and I cracked him. You will learn how to do that too. So I hope you found this content to be valuable. I look forward to seeing you at the in-person Boiler Room Boot Camp event. If you have any questions, if there's anything I can do to help, you can reach out directly to me. You can reach out directly to Matt, or I'd encourage you to click the links, set up a discovery call, or look at some of the testimonials from our last event. But again, our last event, we took people who'd never been on the phone before and set 60 appointments in 3 days, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of potential commissions to be earned. So if that's something you'd like to get involved in, if that's something you want to learn how to do, then I'd encourage you, sign up today, go out there, get some, let's dominate the competition.